Right now, the market is pricing in a 77% chance that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates before the end of 2026. That number hit right after the June Fed meeting. And if you've been watching your portfolio and feeling uneasy, you are not alone. But here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you exactly where that 77% came from, what a rate hike would actually do to your money, and what smart investors are doing right now instead of panicking. And here's the part most people miss. The rate hike itself, that's not the real danger to your portfolio. Your reaction to it is. And the data on that, honestly, it might change the way you think about investing forever. Quick note, I'm not a financial advisor or government employee. Everything here is for educational purposes only. For your specific situation, always talk to a qualified professional. All right, let's get into it. Where did that 77% come from? It starts with oil. Tensions in the Middle East pushed energy prices up 23.5% compared to last year. And when energy spikes, inflation follows. In May, the Consumer Price Index, that's how the government measures inflation, hit 4.2%, the highest reading since April 2023. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, was just sworn in on May 22nd. He got confirmed by the narrowest vote in Fed history, 54 to 45. And he's made one thing crystal clear. His priority is crushing inflation, full stop. At his first meeting in June, the Fed held rates steady at 3.50 to 3.75%, but the dot plot, that's where each Fed official projects where rates are headed, shifted higher. 9 out of 18 officials now expect at least one hike this year. That's where the 77% came from. But, important update, that was the peak. Since then, the odds have cooled. Depending on which tracker you check, rate hike chances sit somewhere between 50 and 65% right now. Still high, still worth paying attention to, but not a guarantee. So the real question is, should you actually change anything in your portfolio? Think about this for a second. Are you more worried about a rate hike hurting your investments, or are you worried about pulling your money out and missing the next rally? Hold that answer. We'll come back to it. Because before you make any moves, you need to understand what a rate hike really does to your money, and it's not what most people think. What a rate hike actually does to your money. When the Fed raises rates, it gets more expensive to borrow money. That hits everything. Your mortgage, your car payment, your credit cards. 30-year mortgage rates are already sitting at 6.49%. But in the stock market, it's more nuanced. Rate hikes don't hit everything equally. Growth stocks, the big tech names, the companies whose value depends on future earnings, they get squeezed the hardest. Higher rates make those future earnings worth less today. That's the math. But here's what surprises most people. Dividend stocks and value stocks, they can actually benefit from higher rates. And we're watching that play out right now. SCHD, one of the most popular dividend ETFs, is up over 20% this year. Now compare that to VOO, the S&P 500 index fund. VOO is up about 10.8%. Let me just think about that for a second. Dividend stocks are outperforming the S&P 500 by almost 2 to 1 this year. That's not a small edge. That's a massive gap. And it goes broader than SCHD. The S&P 500 Equal Weight Index, where every stock counts the same, not just the biggest ones, is beating the regular S&P this year. What that tells you is the rally isn't being carried by just a handful of mega-cap tech stocks anymore. Banks, industrials, healthcare, energy, they're all joining in. Wall Street calls this the Great Rotation. Money is moving out of those mega-cap tech names and into sectors that benefit from higher rates. Banks, for example, make more money when rates go up. Their profit margins get wider.
Now, bonds. This is where people get tripped up. A lot of investors assume bonds are the safe play during uncertainty, but in 2022, when the Fed went on its most aggressive hiking spree in 40 years, the main bond index fell 13.1%. That was the worst year for bonds since 1976. Stocks and bonds fell together. That hadn't happened since the 1960s. So growth stocks get squeezed, bonds can crash, but dividend and value stocks are leading. That's the current picture. Now here's where most people go wrong. There are three common reactions to rate hike scares, and all three of them actually cost you money. Not the hike itself, the reaction. Let me show you. 3 myths that cost investors real money. Myth number 1. When rates go up, sell everything and get out. Here's the truth. Markets are forward-looking. They don't wait for the Fed to finish before they start recovering. In 2018, the Fed hiked rates 4 times. By Christmas Eve, the S&P 500 had dropped nearly 20%, the worst December since 1931. That's scary. But here's what happened next. Before I tell you, take a guess. How long did it take the market to fully recover and hit a new all-time high? A year? 2 years? 4 months. By late April 2019, the market set a brand new record. Anyone who sold near that Christmas Eve bottom locked in their losses right before the biggest bounce. And 2022 was even more dramatic. The S&P bottomed in October while the Fed was still hiking. The Fed kept raising rates well into 2023, but the market had already turned around. It didn't wait for permission. Here's the myth. Rate hikes crash the market and you need to get out. Here's the truth. By the time the news feels the scariest, the worst is usually behind you. Smart investors who stayed put came out ahead. Myth number 2. Move to cash until things calm down. This one feels safe. It sounds responsible, but the math says otherwise. Right now, a high-yield savings account pays about 3.5%. Inflation is running at 4.2%. After taxes on that interest, your cash is actually losing purchasing power every single month. You're going backward, and you might not even realize it. And there's a bigger problem. When you move to cash, you have to be right twice. You need to pick the right time to get out, and then you need to pick the right time to get back in. Miss either one, and it costs you big. Myth number 3. At least bonds are always safe. I touched on this already, but it's worth saying again. In 2022, the main bond index fell 13.1%. That's not a minor dip. That was a historic crash. Now, not all bonds got hit equally. Short-term bonds only dropped about 3.6 to 3.9%. The longer the bond's maturity, the harder it fell. So if you're going to hold bonds, the duration, meaning how long until they mature, makes an enormous difference. Quick question before we move on. Have you ever panic sold during a market dip and then watched it bounce back without you? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. So if selling is wrong, cash is wrong, and bonds can crash too, what's the actual play? What should a smart investor between 25 and 50 actually do right now? That's next. The playbook smart investors use. Here's the single most important piece of data in this entire video. JP Morgan studied what happens when investors try to time the market over a 20-year period. Here's what they found. If you stayed fully invested the entire time, your average annual return was 10.5%. If you missed just the 10 best trading days, just 10 out of roughly 5,000, your return dropped to 6.2%. Let's do the math on that. Say you invested $100,000 at 10.5% over 20 years, that grows to about $730,000. At 6.2%, about $335,000. That's nearly $400,000 gone just for missing 10 days.
And it gets worse. Miss the 20 best days? 3.6% a year. Miss 30? Just 1.4%. You barely beat a savings account. Now here's the part that really gets me. 6 of those 10 best days happen within 2 weeks of the 10 worst days. The biggest bounces come right after the biggest drops. March 2020, the COVID crash. The market hit bottom on March 23rd. 3 days later, it jumped 9.4% in a single day. If you had panicked and sold during the crash, you missed one of the best trading days in history, and it came just 72 hours later. That's why timing the market doesn't work. You can't dodge the bad days without missing the snapbacks. So what should you actually do? First, keep your automatic investments running. If you're putting money into your 401k or Roth IRA every paycheck, don't stop, don't pause, don't reduce it. Volatility is actually doing you a favor here. You're buying more shares at lower prices. Over 20 and 30 years, that's how real wealth gets built. Second, consider a barbell approach. Here's what that looks like. On one side, your core, VOO or VTI. That's your broad market engine. It gives you exposure to the whole U.S. economy. On the other side, quality dividend growth, SCHD or DGRO. These funds screen for companies with strong balance sheets and long track records of paying dividends. They're the ones winning this rotation right now. In the middle, a small allocation to short-term bonds, SCHO or SPSB. These barely moved during the 2022 crash. They give you stability without the duration risk that sank the bond market. If you want monthly cash flow, JEPI is an option. It's yielding around 8% right now, but know the trade-off. It uses covered calls, which means your upside is capped during big rallies. Here's where I might get some pushback. I think most investors under 50 either own way too many bonds or no bonds at all. Almost nobody has it sized right. A small slice of short-term bonds, that's the sweet spot. Not a giant bond portfolio. Just enough to smooth out the ride without dragging down your growth. And two things to keep on your radar. If the next inflation report comes in above 4.2%, or the Fed actually hikes at their July 29th meeting, lean a little harder into short-duration bonds and financial stocks. Banks do well when rates rise. But if oil drops below $70 and inflation cools, those hike odds collapse and the growth trade comes roaring back. This is accurate as of July 2026. Always verify current numbers with a qualified professional. Now, here's what I want you to take away from this whole video. If you remember one thing, make it this. The biggest risk to your portfolio isn't the Fed, it's your reaction to the Fed. Smart investors who stay invested, keep their automatic contributions running, in position with the right balance, they come out ahead. Not sometimes, every time the data has been measured. If you know someone who's stressing about this rate hike talk right now, do them a favor, share this video with them. It might stop them from making a panic move they'll regret. And tell me, what's your plan? Are you staying fully invested, or are you building a cash pile before the July 29th Fed decision? Drop it in the comments, I'm curious. If you're building wealth through smart investing and want to stay ahead of moves like this, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one.